The time is 7 o'clock exactly. And Madam Town Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Jennifer Clock.
Here.
Michael Del Santo.
Present.
Valerie DiPaolo.
Here.
William Diedzik.
Here.
James Morelli.
Here.
Toni Morrison.
Here.
Christopher Palmieri.
Here.
Jack Perry.
Here.
Paul Chaplinsky.
Here. And before we go further, can we confirm that we have the recording started? We have the person here today? Everybody's okay? Okay. We'll just double, triple check. No repeats. All right. Thank you, Madam Town Clerk. Okay, can we please all stand for the prayer and the flag salute?
Heavenly Father, give us the ability this night to see past what is first apparent and into the very heart of issues that are presented. Keep us open and willing to hear the concerns of the people of this community, and give us the courage to act upon those things which are best for Southington. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Welcome back on this Monday after the holiday. Everybody's looking like they got a little bit of extra suntan, so including the town attorney. Look like you've spent some time in the sun. Happy 4th to everybody. We're looking for motion for our meeting minutes from our last meeting, item number 2.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
One abstention.
One abstention. So the motion passes 7-0-1 with Councilman Del Santo abstaining.
Shouldn't be 801.
8-0-1, sorry. Thank you.
Your math is not.
My math is still on vacation. Okay, item 3, councilperson communications.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
A couple of things we we saw earlier today that the, oh, no, sorry.
That's Jim's
The-
mic.
Oh, sorry. The cooling centers are open. If you're uncomfortable, you can go to the library during business hours. You can go to the Calendar House during business hours, or actually their hours are listed on the Southington website. And then anytime those two places are closed, you can always go to the Southington Police Department. We know it is very warm out there, so we should be checking on our neighbors, checking on our elderly friends, making sure that they're not overheating. And then secondly, I was disappointed to miss the last meeting, but I had a scheduled vacation. I know it was Mark's last meeting, and it's very nice to have Alex here, but it's a little weird after 21 years of sitting with Mark Shota on boards, on various boards. So we wish Mark nothing but the best. I'm not going to go into it. I've spoken with him, and there's an event coming up soon to celebrate his years with the town. So it was very nice what the town did, but I was very sorry I couldn't be here to say goodbye in person. But congratulations to Mark, and I wish him the best of luck. And congratulations to Alex. Good luck.
Hopefully he's not listening to you say that.
Probably not. Probably
Hopefully he's relaxing somewhere. Excellent. Thank you, Mike. Anybody else? Chris?
For the last time before the event actually occurs, I'd like to encourage residents, if they're interested in a new program, Intro to Farm Camp. This is co-sponsored with LEAF and the Town of Southington, our own recreation department. So it is open for children ages 8 to 11, and it runs from July 29th to August 2nd, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And if it's okay, can I give a copy to the clerk for the minutes?
Absolutely.
Is that okay as
Thank
well?
you.
There you go. A couple other things. I'm not sure now or maybe later. I was just wondering through you, Chair, to the town attorney, follow up on Eversource. You know, I raised concerns last meeting about Eversource not being willing to maintain their sidewalks. I don't know if there's any, maybe under your report.
And no, it's not actually, Chris, and I have to apologize to the council as a whole. The following day, I made some phone calls and an inquiry via email, and quite frankly, as much as I love to blame somebody else, I dropped the ball and didn't follow up on that. I was on vacation last week. I know the importance of it. Regrettably, at 2 o'clock today, decided to try and resurrect the issue, which if I can get answers, but that wasn't happening with the heat and what was going on with Eversource. But I will have an answer for you or the council as a whole before next meeting.
I appreciate that. And it's no urgency because the sidewalk isn't even there, but I just
I realize
wanted,
that,
well,
but
it's fresh in our minds, so.
I had mentioned you that, or to the council, that I'd have some sort of retort or response following our last meeting, and for a variety of reasons, it didn't get done.
No problem, no problem. Thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Just a couple more quick ones. To the town manager, a couple seniors reached out to me at the Calendar House. The lunch program changed, and I know, Dave, actually, there was a portion of time where they weren't having the lunch program Mondays and Tuesdays. They were only Wednesdays through Fridays, and I know Dave LaPre worked to get that back. So it is all 5 days a week now. But I'm being told it's limited to the amount of people that can attend now. I do think I believe that's subsidized from state, federal grants. So I don't know if there's any way we can look into that and maybe open that back up. You know, a lot of the seniors do enjoy that program, and I'm not sure why it was limited.
So it was fully funded during COVID. The government paid for all of it, and we had a surge of takers. When that subsidy ran out and was pulled back, the program, people stopped coming. Very few people are there. So what I believe they're doing now is they have a set number of meals they make because they don't have the capacity. I will ask Mr. LaPre, they don't have the clients to absorb it all, so they don't want to waste a lot of food. I'll ask Mr. LaPre to get a better understanding of it, and I'll follow up with you right away.
Okay. And if that's the case, if we know in advance, if people are RSVPing, and if it's capped at 20 and 30 people want to attend on a certain day, maybe we could provide the lunch for
We
them.
have noticed, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if they do advance notice for that, so that would be great. And then the last thing, just to give an update to the council and the community, if you remember, I had mentioned, especially through my involvement with STEPS, I was very concerned about the infused seltzer beverages that were available to kids of all different ages. I had reached out to Representative Poulos as well to see what can be done, because that is really, it's not a town issue, it's really a state issue. So he did work at the state level, and there are going to be changes. So I'm pleased to report that they should be limited who has accessibility to get those seltzers. So that's, I think, a huge win for the town and the state. And that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? No? Okay. I had a couple small items. The first is, again, congratulations to Mark Shoda, and incoming welcome to Alex Riccardone, our new town manager. Thank you, Alex, and looking forward to many years of success with you, and looking forward to maybe some of the new ideas that you may have in the months ahead as you start to get your feet about you a little bit. I know you've said that you've been meeting with staff and having some opportunities to meet some of the departments and department heads. So we're really looking forward to what's in store for the future. So welcome. We did have a procession last Friday for Mark, and I know that the town staff was there. Had the opportunity to do some final goodbyes where Mark was presented with the town flag by the town staff, which was really nice, and the honor guard as well from the American Legion, which was really nice to have them there to provide the flags to Mark. The cooling shelters were mentioned, and then last time, Val, you had mentioned that we had the event on the green on Fridays for
Farmers Market?
the farmers market. We had the opportunity to attend the farmers market that first Friday. You had asked us to be there, which, you know, it was thunderstorms were right there within the last hour, but there was still a good amount of traffic.
Right.
And I had a chance to talk with most all of the owners of the booths, and I'll say that there was a lot of positive feedback on previous year's success, and there's a lot of enthusiasm about the foot traffic that the Southington Town Green brings to the farmers market. So
Right,
thanks
I
for
think,
putting that out there.
and just to follow up on that, speaking with Denise from the YMCA that runs it, she's getting a lot of requests from other vendors because they're seeing that there's a lot of foot traffic and it's, you know, it's worth their while to be there. Maybe not every week, you know, they can trade off. So, yeah,
There's-
so that's a great thing for the
It's not
for the
just
town.
vegetables. For those
No, it's
watching,
not
it's,
just- right.
there's jewelry, there's,
Right.
There's bread that was there. There's a lot of other things
Yeah,
that are
Bread
out
for
there.
Life actually
Bread
does
for
their
Life is
honey, their honey company and cookies. Yeah, there's,
They're advertising it really well, too. Throughout the week, they're posting, on some of the local pages,
Yep.
saying this is the lineup for this week, which is really nice,
Yeah.
too, so people
Yeah.
know what they can expect.
and there's some music,
Yeah,
there's
it's a
the
fun time.
libraries there for the kids, for some story time.
Always great to see a crowd.
I think it's great for the town, I really do.
Let's keep our fingers crossed for good weather on Friday afternoons
Yeah.
for them. Okay, moving on from councilperson communications, item 4, report of special committees.
Okay, self-insurance?
Self-insurance, yes, Tony.
Yeah, that's me. Just a couple of quick things. The first is our performance in terms of claims versus what is budgeted versus what actually happened. We had a problem earlier in the year where at one point we were nearly $1 million behind. That got better as we got more towards the budget, and we decided to cut the contributions by $600,000. That decision seems to have panned out well in the sense that now we're $2 million to the good in terms of claims versus budget. So we're doing well on our numbers. The second item is connected as well. We were going to talk about the whole fiscal plans around self-insurance, mostly the reserve strategy. And we were going to talk about it at the last meeting. We felt because there wasn't the whole committee there, because it's summer, we're going to move that off for another month or so when we get a full meeting, and we'll discuss it and make changes as necessary. That's it.
Excellent. Any questions for Tony? Jack, any other comments? You're on the committee as well, right?
Yeah, I was there. No.
Good, okay. Hearing none, then we will move on. Glad to hear that the self-insurance is well-funded and that the claims have cooled down and we're in positive territory. That's great. Thank you. Okay, why don't we move on to town manager's report? Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What everybody wants to know about is Hart Street. So there's a memo that went out to you last week. I do have good news, good and bad. The good news is the lining company finished about 3 hours ago, and we are fully lined. There were a few little holes in the liner when they put it in last week that they needed to fix. Totally done as of today. The lining company's gone. The bad news is, before we reopen the road to two-way traffic, we need to pulverize and reset the road and roll it to get prepared for the base. Tilcon's coming here to do that in multiple streets within the next few weeks. We can't get them locked down for a time to get this done, and this is a priority. I know we have police there around the clock, so I've asked the Public Works Department to look for other vendors specifically for this one project, if someone can get in there quickly. They're not hopeful because everybody's booked up, everybody's kind of schedules this in advance, but we are calling everybody to see if we can get somebody in kind of just to pinch it, to pulverize that road, so we can just get a base down, pull the police off, pull the signs down, and get two-way traffic again. The good news is, the problem's been fixed. The bad news is, we're not fully open. Any questions on Hart?
Mr. Chair.
Second one would be Old Turnpike.
We have a question from Jack.
Sorry. Yes, Jack.
So obviously, once this is all done, I would love to see an itemized breakdown of what that failure is, just because, again, it's to my understanding that was identified last year, and I think that if we kind of were more proactive, there could have been a sizable savings. So I would just love to know what the final breakdown of that is.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Secondly is Old Turnpike Road, and as Attorney Matacho said, he had trouble with Eversource. We're having trouble with Eversource. That's been sitting there. We're waiting on Eversource to go and reinstall the gas line, because it has to be moved around and raised up a little bit. We're at a wait and see. We bug them, we hound them, but we're at their mercy. Otherwise, everybody, River Valley Construction is materially completed with the project. Once the gas is done, we're ready to go. So we're still just sitting there. I saw on social media, some people were talking about the road's been shut down. The road has not been shut down. It's open to non-through traffic, so local traffic can get in there. If you live there, you get there. You have a business, you get there. The weekends, transfer station's open to get there. It was shut down for a few hours last week for the pulverization that we have to do on Hart Street when they had to block the entire road. Emergency departments, the fire and the police coordinated that. That was all taken care of, but that was the only time it was fully closed down. Any questions on Old Turnpike? And then a little good news, we just found out about a potential federal grant for some cybersecurity. It was brought to our attention from Joanne Kelleher, who works as a consultant, as a grant writer for the Board of Education. They reached out to us. What we're planning on doing is applying together jointly with the BOE to hopefully make our application package a little stronger. And what the IT department on the town side wants to use this funds for, it's about $26,000 they're looking for, is to buy programming that pushes out the patches and the security updates. So right now, IT goes machine by machine remotely and pushes things out. To me, that's a little behind. So the goal is to get the software in place where everything's automatically pushed out. There's no failure. If somebody forgets to do a machine and it doesn't get done and nobody catches it, that could open us up to vulnerabilities. So this is just kind of a catch-all, safe-all. We don't know the likelihood of getting the grant, but the turnaround literally is a week from Wednesday. So we want to make sure that this board can bless that so we can move forward with the Board of Ed and try to capture some of those funds.
And that's in our packet, right? And,
Summary from Jay Baker in your packet.
okay, and you're looking for,
We will need a motion, a roll call.
So I'll make a motion.
not yet,
That's good.
To add
new
it to the
business.
agenda.
No, we have it. You have the old agenda.
Are we allowed to make
It's
Go,
on the-
Mike, grab one up there. I know you were on vacation last week. It's okay.
No, I had the new agenda that was sent, but we can't use our phones, and whoever loaded the computer has the old agenda.
That's sorry. That's why you always have the backup on the wall.
Are we allowed to make a comment, or do we wait?
Yes, please, ask questions.
Keep it down.
Okay, it's less of a question, more of a comment, but this was one of the items that was identified as a priority in the technology committee, so it's great to see that that's definitely a plus.
It's definitely a weakness right now, so we really want to patch the patch.
Yep, huge time saver, yep.
Wonderful.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Town Attorney's
Mr. Chair,
report.
Can I
Yeah,
just ask?
sorry, go
Sorry
ahead.
about that. Alex, I just want to confirm though, so the grant would only, for the town site, would only be 26,000.
That's the amount we're putting in for on the town side. I don't know what the Board of Ed is asking for.
We don't need to worry about that.
We don't, we had a little bit of discussion, should we do it by ourselves, and should the Board of Ed go by themselves? And the grant writer believed that we may be competing against each other, so she thought it'd be better to combine it and make the package a stronger package, and maybe we don't get maybe, because if the Board of Ed got it and we didn't get it, or we got it and they didn't get it, maybe now we'll have a better chance of getting something, maybe not all we wanted, but we'll have something,
So that's what we would be approving, is a grant,
to apply for the
to
grant.
apply for that grant. Okay.
Joint.
Yep, jointly with
Jointly
BOE.
with BOE, okay, okay. And
Because
can
we
I,
usually send an approval from the board so that those who are reading the grant know
Will
that the
know
town.
that we've approved, the town's
Exactly, that we're
approved.
asking for it.
okay. And then, just a quick question, like with the cooling, with the heat and everything, and, you know, you had sent out the email about the cooling stations and things like that. I had just read an article about employees, you know, town employees and workers that are out there working in these conditions. Do we have protocols in effect for our town employees that are out working in these conditions? Like,
We don't have official ones, I'm in the process of drafting them, but what I did do, the last heat wave we had, which was 3.5 weeks ago, I sat all the department heads down, and I said, the military has a flag policy. It's blue, green, red, black. And that flag policy gets raised up depending on the heat, the humidity, the wind, and it dictates how much you work, how much you rest, how much you work, how much you rest. I asked, as emergency manager, I asked all the department heads to stick to that policy as much as possible, especially Public Works.
Right.
Obviously, police and fire, if there's an emergency, they've got to do what they've got to do. But as far as the workers who are just doing routine tasks outside,
Right.
I've asked them to abide by those rules
Okay.
while they're in the field.
Okay, that's great, because it's something across the country now that municipalities and companies are all dealing with, because these employees are, you know, they're having health-related issues because they're out there and they're not allowed to go into the shade or have water breaks and things like that.
Yeah, we absolutely encourage the employees, if they're feeling ill, take a breather,
break.
hydrate, and then call your supervisor if you
Yeah.
feel like you're getting sick.
So, but it would be good if we have, so you're
Yeah,
kind
we
of
have
looking at the
we have a
policy.
verbal policy for them to
Yep.
follow.
Yep.
But we are in the process with HR of drafting
Try to draft some type of a formal policy.
That is more specific to municipal work.
Yep, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager, for being in front of that issue. Anybody else? Excellent. Hearing none. Let's move on to the Town Attorney's report.
Other than the topic we discussed a few moments ago with regard to the Eversource issue, I have no report.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, any questions for the Town Attorney? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 7, public communications. Anybody from the public who would like to come up and speak today? Anybody from the public? Okay. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, the public communications section, and move on to item number 8, old business. Item A, action on state and local cybersecurity grant program.
I'll make a motion to approve applying for the state and local cybersecurity grant.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, Mike and Chris, any discussions on the cybersecurity grant?
Just, not a discussion, just a just a comment. I really do think it's great that Joanne found this and that we're working collaboratively, because I do think that synergy between the town and Board of Ed versus Board of Ed being separate from the town, I think that's great. Hopefully we can do that more often.
Excellent. Excellent. And just getting prepared for the vote, Bill, we're just making sure with a check of the connection that you're still with us. We're gonna, we are, okay, we have a motion and a second under old business, item A, on the action for state and local cybersecurity grant program. Hearing no other comments, would you please call the roll, Madam Town Clerk?
Clock,
Yes.
Del Santo.
Yes.
DiPaolo,
Yes,
Dietzick,
Yes.
Morelli,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Palmieri,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Chaplinsky.
Yes, the motion passes unanimously. Thanks, everybody. Item number 9, new business, tax refunds.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the tax refunds that are presented in our packets.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Dietzick, from being remote, for seconding that. Any discussions on the tax refunds? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Appointments. Okay, we have 3 appointments. The first one is the Cable Advisory Committee. I'm going to be looking for a table on that, but before I request that, anybody have any comment on that one?
Do you want to table all, we have our name ready, or do you want?
Just the first one. Just the Cable Advisory Committee.
Right, but do you want the D for that? Because we're ready.
Would you like to do the D?
Sure,
Yeah, sure.
that's okay.
Let's do it.
So we would like to nominate Sandra Bernoulli. She has served in that capacity and is willing to serve for another term on that.
Excellent. Do we have a second for that?
second,
Thank you, Val. Any discussion on the nomination of Sandra Brunoli? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Excellent. Hearing none, then the motion passes unanimously for Sandra Brunoli, and we're looking for a table for the other
I'll make a
two.
motion to table for the other 2 names.
Thank you.
Second.
And we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously to table for the 2 positions for Robert Tonin and James Rusty Hay. Okay, the next 2 appointments are mine. The Senior Citizen Commission is a council chair appointment, and we are going to put up Deb Durbin of 213 Annalise Avenue. So that's 213 Annalise Avenue. And the second one is the Transportation Committee, which was discussed at the last meeting. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a 5-person committee there with 3 council members. Mr. Morrison's going to chair that with Jen and Val from the council. And then I'd like to have the chair of the Commission with Persons with Disabilities, Melissa Lapila, on that. And then also Mr. Michael Riccio, who's here, who I know has come a number of times and had some insights on some ideas for paratransit and other transportation ideas. So those 5 people, not limited to, but some areas that I'd like to have explored are, I've written 7 bullets here that I wanted to mention. Number 1, I'd let's take some time and get an updated residential feedback on the needs for paratransit. You know, what are the community needs that are out there? Let's understand what that is. I've heard a lot of things about paratransit. I've heard that there's been studies years ago. I've heard that there's been other studies done. I'd like the committee to take a look at that and come back with, you know, what does the need look like? Understanding the state provided paratransit service and the requirements, especially how it relates to the state transportation service that we have in the town that was recently implemented this year. Criteria for how the bus line is decided. We've been hearing a lot about expansion of the bus line, about whether the bus line has enough ridership. How do we promote it? How do we get more ridership? So I think it's good to understand how that decision's made, what's the criteria for success. Because, you know, if, for those people who are looking to expand the bus service, I think it's good for us to know what does good look like so that we know what we're aiming for. I know there's some advocacy groups that are out there. It may also help provide some benchmarks for them to maybe help with promotions. What criteria is used for the existing service? So can they give us some idea of what the ridership is, the current ridership? We've had this service now for at least 3 or 4 months, so what does the first quarter ridership look like? How does that compare to other municipalities similar to ours? And, you know, what's the overall cost to that? I'd also like to understand, the team should capture the input from a number of stakeholders. We should, you know, the advocacy group that's out there right now, Val, you had mentioned them at the last meeting. We should invite them to the meetings, ensure that we collect some of the input from them, understand, you know, some of the areas that they're looking to help in. And then also, you know, meet with the Committee for Persons with Disabilities, the Calendar House. Mr. LaPrey will probably have some insights. I'd like Mr. LaPrey to be the staff member on this ad hoc subcommittee, Mr. Town Manager. And so get some feedback from the Calendar House, Community Services, Bread for Lice, and the advocacy groups, and others, of course. Let's make sure that we take a holistic look at this and see, let's get all of the perspectives on this. And then come back with some findings and some recommendations on, you know, what the committee feels we should be doing with the transportation and especially paratransit in the community. And then, you know, maybe there's some opportunities to try some different things. Maybe there's some opportunity for us to look for some grants, some budget money. I'm not sure. Let's get the feedback from the team and let's see where we go. Okay? So, Tony, it might be, let us know when the meetings are, and then we can maybe put some updates under committee reports based on when you have your first meetings.
I'll let you know this week.
Okay.
By the way, one thing, would it be a good idea to have a net as ex officio?
Sure.
on the committee
If that's
as well? Is
okay
that
with you,
possible?
Mr. Town Manager? So then we have Public Works.
Yeah.
And we also have the Calendar House, who's two ex officio members.
So Dave is ex officio as well.
Yep, and the thought is, you know, I think the thought here is this is not a permanent subcommittee. The subcommittee can come back and tell us whether they think an ongoing transportation subcommittee should be, you know, a permanent one as well. So that can be part of the recommendation or not. So let's, you know, I'm hoping over the next 6 months, we can get some clarity on these things.
I'll let
between
you
now and the end
I'll
of
let you know by the end of the week.
Awesome. Thanks. Okay. With that, we'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. 29 minutes.
Vic?
Thank you, Bill.
I don't think I have one more yet.